Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband News. When it comes to broadband service and the quality of that service, it's not always about speed. Be right back. Hey there, thanks for joining me. Rick Hughes here with Broadband News. So I wanted to look at this article here because like I say, it's not always about the need for speed when it comes to broadband service. This is in Lightwave plus BTR. So BTR used to be, it's Broadband Technology Report, and used to be more focused on the cable side, and the Lightwave, as you can imagine, is kind of focused on the optical side, but they are now one. And this particular article, what it's talking about here, this was based on some comments made in a webinar from Omdia, Alsbeta Fellenbaum. So anyway, I want to go through this and just see what she has to say and make a few comments. So you see here, our service provider is too focused on speed. During a recent Fiber Broadband Association Fiber for Breakfast webinar, Ms. Fellenbaum, principal analyst for 5G and broadband and pricing and strategy at Omdia, that's an analytics firm, discussed ways that service providers can look beyond speed for monetization opportunities. And that's true. Obviously there's more that you can do. You don't want to be just a dumb pipe where you're connecting somebody up. But then the question also is, should you be, talking so much about speed, and maybe you should be talking about other things as well. So she says here, if we step back slightly and talk about the digital home trends and consumer broadband trends more in general, we can see that the home still presents a significant revenue opportunity for the North American digital service providers. Omdia predicts that the North American digital home market will be worth $632 billion by 2028, with fixed broadband maintaining its position as the biggest market sector at an estimated value of $128 billion by 2028. Despite heavy saturation in the market, Omdia still expects subscriptions to grow, predicting an increase from 144 million in 2023 to 160 million in 2028. In the same time span, residential broadband penetration in the North American market is expected to reach 97%, up from 92%, and fiber and fixed wireless access will be the fastest growing access technologies. So, wow, if we get up to 97% penetration, there's not much room to grow there as far as your getting new broadband subscribers, unless you're going to get them from competitors. So as far as revenue, those would be your two options. One would be to getting new broadband subscribers from your competitors at some point where it's saturated in the market, and then also keeping. You don't want to have churn. You don't want to be losing your customers. So you want to keep those customers by providing additional value-added services, and then also just good service. Make sure that the technology is good, be able to connect the customer, that you're providing good customer service, and then value-added services on top of that would be kind of make you sticky, so that people would be less likely to leave you. So here we also see that the average advertised speeds that these households subscribe to will grow from 588 megabits per second in 2023 to 1.4 gig in 2028. If we focus specifically on speeds, we can see that the number of households subscribing to home broadband services with speeds higher than a gig is growing rapidly in the North American market, from 15 million in 2021 to 53 million in 2024, and then further to 79 million by 2028, when gig households will account for over half of connected households in the region. And something to consider there is, as you have people connecting up to gig, if you've got multiple providers that are able to offer that, speed becomes less relevant. The people who are really concerned about speed are the ones that don't have it, right? So if they're trying to do things on the internet and they can just tell that their download speeds are not enough to support maybe streaming multiple shows at the same time with the family, or the upload speeds are so bad that they have issues with that. And I'm thinking there specifically maybe some older cable technology or DSL technology, and of course DSL on the download speeds as well. Then that becomes an issue, and that's when they pick up and move if a competitor comes in with better speeds. But if you've got multiple people offering gig services, and gig, let's say on the download, and people are happy with what they feel the speed is, the connection, and maybe the reliability of the service, then they're less likely to move. Upload speeds, not as important, but that is an advantage for fiber operators because they can much more easily do symmetrical service then let's say a cable operator or a wireless operator, or satellite, which is not going to be much of a player, I think, in areas where you've got fiber. But you see what I'm saying there. So upload speeds, again, if you've got a fiber operator that's offering a gig symmetrical, and those speeds will go up over time. You might have 2 gig, 5 gig. But if you've got a fiber operator offering a gig symmetrical and you've got a cable operator offering a gig down and maybe 50 up, the customer's probably not going to notice that 50 up because most of what they're doing is on the downstream. So it is a marketing advantage. It's a marketing advantage for the fiber operators. Not that much of a technical advantage yet. So that's something to consider there as well. But certainly fiber operators tout that because, again, it's an advantage that they have. Providers, she says, have long used speed tiers and discounts to differentiate their offerings in a competitive market, but this could lead to a race to the bottom. The point there is if everybody's able to offer comparable speeds, again, with maybe the upload not being that important, then everybody's just throwing speed out there and lowering their price to try to stay competitive. If service providers are not careful, they'll get dragged into a promotional frenzy that can see them offering premium fees for only marginal price increases. And that's something that we actually see across the world, she said. I'm not sure what they mean by premium fees for only marginal price increases, but I think the point is that, again, don't compete just on price and on speed. So what to do about ARPU, average revenue per user? Omdia took data from 70 countries over 5 years and found that service providers have not been able to grow ARPU at the same rate that speeds are increasing. On average, the actual global speed offered has increased by more than 950%, but the actual ARPU reduced by 26%. And, some of that is just as technology gets better, you see prices of things go down, even though we're kind of in an inflationary, it's reduced a little bit, but even as prices go up, sometimes the cost for providing something, fiber, the cost of deploying fiber, maintaining fiber, increasing speeds, you can increase speeds and it doesn't really impact your bottom line that much. So you wind up giving people more speed and you don't raise the price. And that's really what providers are doing. So they started out, let's say the package you had with your fiber operator was 250 meg. And then suddenly they say, hey, congratulations, we're upgrading you to 500 meg and we're not increasing the cost. And then you get a year later, hey, we're upgrading you to a gig and we're not increasing the cost. So of course they do that. And then they slip other packages in there at lower speeds for those people that want to pay less, but they try to keep everybody that was paying them the top tier. They don't want to force people to upgrade, I guess. So they're providing the additional speeds and then providing tiers below that at that point. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me. China, she reported, has seen average speeds increase by more than 4,000%, while ARPU fell by 23%. In the U.S., speeds grew by over 500%, while ARPU increased by only 20%. I don't think we can look to China as we look at almost anybody else except China. That's not a free market, so who knows what's determining speeds and whatnot there. Speeds and prices, especially prices. Fallenbaum said that the gap between speed and ARPU growth is the result of service providers focusing almost exclusively on broadband speed and price. To stay competitive, providers offered more speed for the same or reduced rates. To avoid falling into this cycle, Omdia suggests service providers increase their focus on quality of service and experience. In the North American market specifically, Omdia found that consumers are concerned with speed, but place a higher value on a reliable and consistent connection, along with efficient and high-quality customer support. So again, if you have a fast product, if you're offering gig service, but it's not reliable, or when people call and they have a question, they can't get somebody on the phone, and then there's a competitor out there with a gig also, you're going to lose that customer even though you're offering a good speed. So that's what they're talking about there. And by the way, at the end here, I'm going to let you know how we can help, let's say with customer support, and also if you're a cable operator, especially with helping you compete better with fiber as far as reliability standpoint. So stick around if you want to hear about that. Service providers, as well as some other value-added services you can offer, like voice and IPTV, and how to do that at a reasonable price. So, if service providers can turn their attention to providing and marketing an overall superior quality of broadband service that meets all of these requirements, they will be able to capture greater market share and also convince many customers to pay more. And the primary place where service providers can do all of this is in the home network. And these are good points that she makes here. Again, the need for more than speed. A Parks Associates report from earlier this year found that in 2023, the average home had 17 connected devices. According to that report, 89% of U.S. internet households have a video streaming service, 66% have a smart TV, 42% have at least one smart home device, at least one, wow. 39% have a smart watch, and 31% have a security system. All these devices connected currently constrain the home network. So that's true. So you've got your broadband connection, and then you've got all these other devices that are connecting up that are taking bandwidth within the home. If neglected, the home network can become a real pain point, which will not be entirely solved by fiber deployment because fiber only targets bandwidth issues up to the point of the home, said Fallenbaum. So very, very true. So you could have a great internet connection to the customer, everything's solid, and if something goes wrong in the home network, the ISP tends to get blamed for that, even though it's not their issue. It might not be their router. Maybe they don't have the route, they don't offer a router, the customer gets their own and they're not happy, or it could be their router. But that's why it's important, or it's a good idea to provide managed Wi-Fi services with, maybe you offer that as an option with a router that you have access to, and that way, and provide that kind of technical support for the customer, even if it's not your router. And that's an area where we can help, again, as with home network support, even if it's not your router. If the customer can call and find out, they say they're having a problem with their connection, and we can troubleshoot that and say, it looks like the connection is fine, but let's check your home network, and then we can work with them there. That makes a big difference because and we operate a tech support service, so one of the things that we do, so most of the calls that we get when it comes to a connection are not the actual connection of the internet provider, it's somewhere in the home network. And if you're not troubleshooting that, if you just say, I'm sorry, we're fine, it looks like it's on your end, customer's not happy. Again, they blame the service provider, so you need to be aware of that. If the home network is not properly managed, it will become the bottleneck and an issue for service providers because they will still get blamed for services and devices not working properly in the home. I had not actually read that sentence yet. I was kind of scanning through this, but there you go. So they say you get the blame. Fallenbaum suggests that in addition to providing appropriate hardware, service providers should also implement smart management software that can allow them to detect and intercept issues before they impact the customer. So if you can look at the Wi-Fi network and see what's going on in there, that's a benefit. From our research and speaking with some service providers that have actually implemented smart Wi-Fi management platforms, we can see that they've experienced major improvements in operational performance, such as reduction of setup calls by up to 60%, reduction in customer support calls by up to 30%, and fewer engineering visits, which were down by up to 30%. So that right there shows you, not only is it a benefit for the customer, you're providing a better customer experience, and you're answering their questions about their Wi-Fi network, but also in doing that, you are reducing talk time in your call center. Obviously, if they're calling you for help with the Wi-Fi, then you're talking to them at that point. But if you can provide a solution for them and they leave happy, that's great. And then if you've got tools to be able to reduce the amount of time that you're on the phone with them, that really helps. And if you can tell from those tools that, or just from the conversation with them, that, it looks like it's your Wi-Fi network, then you can maybe solve that. Or if you're going to roll a truck, you roll it for the right reasons, and not try to fix something that's not on that end. So there's a lot of benefits there. So in other words, cost savings for you in addition to improving the customer satisfaction level of the customer. This in turn leads to higher net promoter scores, can specifically impact the churn reduction by 12 to 30%, and can also lead to ARPU increase. So again, churn. You don't want churn. You want to provide the best service you can, and this is an area where you can make a difference there. Think about it. Every customer you lose, that's a customer you've got to gain. You've got to gain a new customer to take the place of that person. So you want to hold on to your customers. According to Fallenbaum, the quality of experience and services can drive incremental revenues. She said there are also opportunities through personalization, offering plans and services that are tailored to the specific needs of different customer groups. Rather than just focusing on a pure speed offering, targeting users based on their user preference, based on what they do, based on their personas, can help, she said. So we can talk about lower latency for gamers and dedicated Wi-Fi traffic streams for home workers. Families will appreciate parental controls and more cybersecurity for their kids. If someone is an online entertainment buff and wants the highest quality video, that can also be tailored and prioritized. And for social media users, upload speed boosts, for example, are another way of monetizing and offering a value-added service. I'm not sure what they're talking about there as far as social media users and the need for uploaded speed boosts. Now, me, I'm broadcasting right now. I'm streaming, so it helps that I have higher upload speeds. But maybe that's what they're talking about social media would be content creators as opposed to people just checking Facebook and posting videos, those kinds of things. And that's the end of that article. So again, this really brings out how important it is as a broadband service provider, especially as we have more competition in the market from multiple providers, to be able to differentiate yourself and, again, provide additional services to increase your revenue. Because as the market gets saturated and there's fewer and fewer customers to get, again, your two opportunities for gaining revenue would be to take customers from your competitors, and then also when you get customers is to sell more into them and to provide more services that would benefit them too. So that's what we're always trying to do, right? So I did want to let you know how we can help in a couple of different ways. So here, for example, if you are struggling with technical support for your subscribers, or if you're going to be a new provider, you're somebody that's rolling out broadband for the first time, and you don't want to build your own call center, or if you have a call center and you're getting overwhelmed, we can help you for anywhere from taking all of your calls 24/7 to providing support just during after hours and holidays, or overflow support. When your call center gets busy, it would get transferred over to us, so we can help with that. So check out our website. You see here under End User Technical Support Services. Also, if you're a cable operator, you may want to be improving the reliability of your network if you have a fiber operator coming in, because just being the incumbent there is not going to save your business. You need to provide a good quality connection and reliability. So DOCSIS P&M has been around a long time. It will, when you implement DOCSIS P&M and then provide proactive maintenance instead of reactive maintenance, then you can increase the customer satisfaction. And you also increase the reliability of your cable network. So you can decrease the amount of ingress on your network. You can improve the RF signature, everything on your network as far as signal to noise ratio, those kinds of things. You can stay on top of that. Basically, it's about finding impairments in the network before they impact your subscribers. So that's what PNM allows you to do. So you might check that out, PNM. And then also right here, you'll see DOCSIS 3.1 PMA. If you are deploying or have deployed DOCSIS 3.1, there's a new thing called Profile Management Application that will actually help you with optimizing your DOCSIS 3.1 network so that you have more DOCSIS 3.1 modems connecting that network, and they connect at better modulation rates. So you can actually increase the capacity of that network, and it all happens automatically. There's a lot going on when you're talking about OFDM channels and all of the different subcarriers and trying to optimize those. It can't be done manually, but Profile Management PMA will do that for you automatically and dynamically. So as the conditions on the plant change, then your profiles, your DOCSIS 3.1 profiles, the modulation profiles will all remain optimized. So it looks at that on an ongoing basis. So that's something else that can help you. Again, as a cable operator, you need to do these things if you're going to keep up with your fiber competitors. And then a couple other things just to consider is, again, how do you get more revenue out of your broadband service? Well, one way is to offer voice. So we've got a completely hosted voice solution for residential voice and commercial voice. So if you want to provide, hosted PBX residential voice services to customers, you don't need to have a voice network. You don't need to have any equipment in your network. All you provide, you have to provide some equipment that they'll connect up with. In addition to, for example, a cable modem or a fiber device, you need something that can provide, like in the cable modem world, it's an MTA or an ATA that would provide the service, the voice service, voice over IP. Basically, that's what you're doing. So this is another way to get additional revenue, and you're providing another service for your customers, especially good for commercial customers who, again, you can reduce their telephone costs by providing them with a PBX with all kinds of features, and it's hosted. You don't need to worry about any of that. Or residential voice, again, you can provide great residential voice services for folks if they want a landline kind of service at home, but not via the normal telephone company. They can do that VoIP service and get all kinds of great features for a reasonable price. And lastly, TV. You might be thinking that pay TV is gone, but what's really probably going is QAM-based TV, where you've got cable operators that are getting out of that because of the cost of programming, and then also because they want to be able to provide faster speeds on broadband. So rather than using their QAM channels for video, some of them are getting off of that and going to IPTV so that they can reclaim those channels and start using them for broadband, the ones that were being used for TV. So we've got a fully managed IPTV service where you need very little equipment in your network. It's not like you need big dishes and all kinds of stuff. You just need some caching servers and a few other things to make this a good quality service. There's no set-top box, so this is a streaming service that you can provide, but it's a linear-based TV, so it's not like you're offering a streaming service where people have to pay different subscriptions for different, like Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and this Plus and that Plus. It's a linear-based, very similar to what you might see from just a cable operator like Comcast or DirecTV or YouTube TV, more closely, let's say, to YouTube TV, where you've got a guide and you've got live TV on there, you've got DVR, replay TV, anything on the guide in the last 24 hours, you can go click and replay it if you happen to miss it, those kinds of things. And again, very little equipment on your end, no set-top box, so somebody can use a streaming device like a Roku or an Amazon device, Fire Stick or whatever it is, different streaming devices, or a phone or a tablet or anything else. There's apps that will work on all of those things. So you might check that out as well on our website, the IPTV service that you can offer there. And again, the point of these is that this is additional revenue that you can get by having a connection to the customer home or business. This is additional revenue that you can leverage from that. And again, it's sticky. So as you provide additional services, if somebody wants to leave, if they're thinking about leaving, then they're thinking, oh, let's see, I get my broadband from them, but wait a minute, I also get my TV from them and my phone from them. So unless they're really unhappy, it makes it a little bit easier for them to stay with you. That's what sticky is all about. So there you go. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And if this was of help to you, if you found this interesting, if you give me a like on the video, I would appreciate that. And if you are not subscribed, click the subscribe button and then make sure that little bell is rung to be notified when I'm live. And I will see you next time for Broadband News. Take care. Bye-bye.